We'll begin. Connect to our Ujjayi breath. And feel the elbows, the weight of the arm bone just hang down. Feel that gesture of release from within the shoulder joint. Relaxing the weight of the arm. Feel the gesture of release all around the shoulder blade. The weight of the shoulder blade kind of sinks, glides the blade down. And softly encourage your inhalation to work its way under the shoulder blade, under the sternum. Into the heads of the shoulders. We'll work alternate nostril breathing in the following ratio: 2, 3 to 2. So if I'm inhaling 10, I'll hold 15, I'll exhale 10. If I inhale 8, I'd hold 12, I'd exhale 8. So the ratio 2, 3, 2. And we'll just set that up in our own meter. Let you select a hand and a time to begin. When we're doing the nostril closures, just let the Ujjayi component, let that just slip away for. So we're using this nostril closure as a valve. We'll come back to the Ujjayi later. Just taking note if you're trying to bring both of these techniques into play. Finish the round that you're on. I'll do one more. And then we'll set our right leg out, straightened. Knees set widely. I'll put my ankle behind my hip. You may have to put yours in front of your hip. And we'll start with the right side arm. So as we're inhaling, take that right arm up, expanding the ribs, telescoping them away from the hips. Exhale, reaching the armpit. And so the whole right side of the ribs, reach forward over that right leg. Set the hand down. We'll set this left hand kind of out, maybe shoulder altitude, maybe a little higher, a little lower. So if you go a little higher, you might catch more of the bicep and the pec. If you go a little lower, you might feel more of the trap and the scalenes. Let's get into this left side ribs too. So inhale, we'll take the left arm overhead. So the reach of this overhead left arm limb. Just to spread this whole left side of the ribs, lats, all these back and armpit muscles. And inhaling, we'll set the left hand down to the ground. And I'm moving hands to flank the shin for a forward fold. This is a good moment to use the low belly muscles. It's when we employ the low belly muscles, there's kind of a sponge-like extraction of breath and fluid from that belly area. And inhale, let's walk it back. We'll switch sides. So you've got the left leg straightened, the right knee bent, knees set widely. We'll start with the left arm as we inhale. Feeling for the length through this left side ribs. And again, as we exhale, reaching, explore that feeling of armpit away from hip. Okay, when you reach your right arm out, a little lower might help you feel The higher parts of the shoulder. If you bring your hand a little higher, you might feel more the chest and below the collar. Kind of play around. And here's that extended or that reaching arm overhead. So inhale, right arm reach overhead, letting the reach of the arm just help expose and broaden the entire right side of the trunk, the armpit, shoulder blade, lats. Of course, all those wonderful rib muscles. And feel that your exhalation helps unflare the ribs. So we're using the low belly muscles. And kind of sponge and expel air. But also there's a kind of a waking up through the rib muscles. And you involve them to draw the ribs down. Find out if you can feel that activity there. It's rib muscle, it's and forward fold. Inhale, we'll bring the right hand down. Hands flank the left leg. So your ujjayi, your exhalation, is just this patient extraction or expression or expulsion. The rate at which we release, I think, is worthy of study. So if you're accustomed to releasing all at once, try slowing and feeling that go with a lengthier breath cadence. Those low belly muscles in the fold. And release. Inhale, we'll come up right. All right. So when we lie on back, we're going to do a few just simple things. I want to start off with a gate opener. If you have a prop for between the legs, go ahead and grab it. And if you don't have a prop where you are, you can just stick with straddle or frog, just setting the legs widely. I'm going to talk through gate opener, that two-part sequence. If you have a prop, we'll play along together. And if you don't have a prop, you'll just have lots of straddle lifting through. Okay. So let's inhale into the low back and low belly. And then holding the breath, squeeze the object, exhale, reach up through the legs, float, lift the head, shoulder blades up, sink the belly down. We'll put our left hand on the roll, hold it there. Inhale, straddle the legs away from the object, which means our hand is just kind of holding the roll against our pubic bone. And exhale. If the low belly muscles are actively helping you, you might feel the pubic bone just Lift, curl up into that prop, outreach through the legs, draw the belly in and down. Inhale, gather the legs, set the head down. Hold, squeeze object. Really active feet. Now exhale, the head and the shoulder blades up. Sink the belly in and down. We'll use the right hand. Inhale, hold the roll, separate legs, and exhale. With your ujjayi, patiently pull low belly down. Inhale, gather legs, set head down. Squeeze. Curl tail, exhale, reaching up to the inner legs. Float the head, shoulder blades up. Pull low belly down. Take the left hand to the object. Hold it as you inhale, legs apart. Exhale. With the low belly muscles, the ribs gather down. Sink the low belly down. One more pair. Inhale, gather the legs toward vertical. Let the head rest. Squeeze object. Exhale, reaching up to the inner legs. Float the head, shoulder blades up. Hearing that nice constancy of breath movement, breath sound. Sink the belly in. And right hand to roll. Inhale, legs apart. There you go. And an exhale. The low belly muscles getting accustomed to this exhale activity. The pelvis shifts a little bit. Legs outreach. And then draw the belly down extra. Just trying to wake up those furthest edges of our exhale ability, right? Inhale. We'll bring the legs back up to vertical. Set the feet down. Exhaling. We'll set the head down. We'll remove the object. Taking 2 deep breaths into abdomen, hip crease. Okay, from lying, Baddha Konasana. So we'll gather up both feet, placing soles of feet together over sternum. So if you needed a towel or a strap to make this connection broader, that's always something we can do. Remember, you can always set this up too, so it's best for your back. Sometimes I'll bring the feet down just to put more of my low back and sacrum on the ground. And we'll release. Let's turn to a side. We'll press up to standing. I'm going to press up into a wide stance. Take these hips for a little turn. So twisting horse stance. And propping the hands up, getting a little bit of space or traction through the spine. And exhaling, we'll turn to the right, so that's pressing through the left hand, spiraling the chest to the right. It doesn't matter so much the head. If the head turns to the right, you can just let the head move with the sternum, that's fine. And we'll switch. Inhale, come back around. Twisting to the left. So take that right hand. Give a little pressure against the right leg. And hearing that unstrained freedom of breath. As you hear the breath, that could be our invitation to explore a little more deeply, but hear that the breath is unstrained. And then inhale, we'll come back round, straightening legs, heel toe them together. We're going to revisit some tree. So I have my left foot pointing whatever I believe is straight ahead. Bringing the right foot to the inner thigh. Now, tweeze on that whole inner leg. I like to leave my big toe down for this. And with the big toe down, you can kind of create that nice little suction cup of spirilic action off the ground that allows you to not just turn on the inner leg muscle, but the whole inner leg line. There's a whole. Okay. So I'm using the pressure of the right foot to help draw that left leg into the midline or into the foot. Then as you keep playing around, we can move this right knee to the right. And then for balance, you can bring the hands, chest or ankle, and reach them overhead so you get those lats and those low back structures spread out vertically. With that inner leg line really turned on. 2 deep breaths. Let's set it down. We'll switch sides. So right foot, I'll have points straight ahead, whatever straight ahead is. Plant that left foot to the inner right leg, putting it above the knee. If you need it below the knee, you can do that. But this is a signal. This foot's a signal for my right leg to gather back into the middle, the midline, into the foot. Okay. You'll feel there's a little shift. If I let my femur get pushed out, it feels kind of heavy. And if I involve that whole inner leg line, there's the support of all that musculature. Okay. Further, we can draw this left knee into the space at our back. Stretching the arms up overhead. And release. That feeling of tallness or that feeling of buoyancy, we might sometimes feel like it's continuing right up through our spine. It's a wonderful helper for when we do things like go upside down. So let's set that foot down and let's start to prepare that. We'll use dolphin as a little shoulder warmer. So set the elbows under the shoulders and the forearms out in front. Ensure your arm placement, your elbow placement, allows you to feel a broadness through the heads of the shoulder. So if you plant your arms down and you feel crowded in front like you're in a winter coat, you might play with the spacing. And exhale, come into dolphin. And start to ease the heels toward the earth. And we'll set the knees down. Exit. So we're going to play a little downward dog at the wall. We'll be reaching one leg straight up. And just to emphasize, straight up is different than trying to reach the legs as far apart as possible. We're going to aim for straight up. It's a nice, it's a good orientation to have learned in our body. Okay. So I'll just kind of roughly talk through this and you'll just find your wall and your entry at your pace. So from downward dog, we'll step the feet up, hip height. Okay. We'll take one leg straight up. This means our legs are about a 90-degree angle from each other, roughly. I want you to reach that leg straight up so as to kind of iterate that tree pose. Find that inner leg, that involved inner leg. Reach up through that inner leg and find out if that inner leg can help draw the spine, the lower spine, up toward the sky. Breathe all the way into the belly and the back. Support that with your breath. We did all those abdominals. This is a good reason why. And as you're exhaling, one more reach up through that one first straight leg with those low belly muscles helping you exhale. And now we'll move to the other side. Place the up leg on the wall and bring the wall leg to up. We're going straight up to help us just iterate through did some straight leg things this week. As we're working with these straight leg poses and these straight leg, these long, bright, brilliant lines of energy through the legs, eventually, maybe, something starts to click or connect through the pelvic abdominal space and the organs. And find out if you can reach that leg up. And can it help draw the low back up, the guts up? Taking one, maybe two more brilliant breaths here. There you go. And yes, breathing will sometimes give us a little wobble moment. And then we'll set the foot down all the way to the ground, and the foot down all the way to the ground. That's a good time. If you want to stay near the wall, we can. We're going to play that standing pigeon again. So let's grab a hold of the right foot. You can grab the foot with two hands. You can grab the thigh and the foot. And we'll release. We'll switch sides. So grab a hold of the left foot. And even if I don't give this foot into whatever I think a pigeon is, there's a ton of value in pressing through that ground leg, lengthening through the pelvic abdominal space of the body, spreading our breath through that whole trunk, even as we're kind of hugging and drawing the leg up. Okay, let's release. I want to show you a move. I'm using a block, and it's not a position we get into very often, but I like the adaptation, and I'll show you if you don't have a block what you can do. So usually we do the twining vine or this twisted root stuff with our feet off of the ground, and there's some good reasons for that. I'm taking my right knee, crossing over the left, but instead of going for a foot behind the calf hook, I'm just going to prop my right foot on a block beside my left foot. So I'm going to presume my left foot down and set a block beside me. Now, if I don't have a block, I could just free dangle that foot, I guess. I could also use just a little touch of wall at my left side. But I'm going to show you with the block. So this twisted root, I go right knee over left thigh. I'm just letting my right toes hang out. We're going to do arms and eagle. So as we exhale, bring our right elbow over our left. And softly sending the elbows forward. Inhaling, unwind. We'll unwind the arms, standing up. Okay. Now just push the block to the right side of the right foot. So now we'll leave the right foot on the ground. And cross the left knee over the right. But I'm just going to use a little toe touch. I'm not interested in the how many tie twists can I get out of my leg. Just that's perfect. You get a little touch of balance. That's perfect. And you can always just lift the toes up and play with your balance. Right? Okay. And the arms, exhaling left elbow over right. This is a really marvelous way to start to get us ready to twist. And inhale, we'll unwind. Let's stand at the top of our mat. We can move the block off. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. Exhale, fold. Low belly muscles, upper belly muscles. The ribs gather, the neck releases. Monkey. Using hands on the ground or on the shin. Inhale, kind of move the earth, move the shins. The shoulders glide away from the neck. We'll set the hands down. Exhale, step back. You could jump back if you want. I am going to step back. And with the shoulders broad, the fronts of the shoulders broad, lower down. Stretch those legs straight back. Cobra. Inhale. Low back, mid-trunk, chest. Lower down, hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. All right, we're going to do a little sequence, and we'll live. Warrior 2. Inhale, let's step the left foot forward. Warrior 2, left foot forward. And take the arms out to the side. Exhaling, glide the shoulders down. And the pelvis basically faces the long edge of the mat. Heel, front heel, aligns with the back instep. This will just allow us to now fine tune it so we can lengthen through the low back. You have a little more abdominal support for the spine. Not bracing, there's no bracing. Not cutting off or squeezing off circulation to the pelvic floor. Just a little reorientation. It's going to change our breath dynamic. The way we feel the shape and the fluid dynamics of our breath. Reverse warrior. Let's go right hand to thigh. Inhale, the left arm up. And with the left arm, taking the ribs away from the hip crease. So feel about how much broadness and space can I detect from armpit to hip crease. We'll just play with that for 2, maybe 2.5 breaths. And you don't have to arc more and more. In fact, you can just reach and lengthen further and further. Now inhale. Let's bring the left arm up and over. We're going to pivot into lunge. So I need to walk my back foot up a little bit. A little adjustment of the feet. Right knee down. Pressing down through the shin bones. Kind of earns me a feeling of buoyancy. So I don't feel so sluggish or kind of heavy in the hips. It's perfectly fine if all my muscles are just like kind of a buzz with a wakefulness. That's great. Easy twisting lunge. So inhaling, I place the right hand on the ground, backing up hips a tiny bit to do so. And exhaling with the left palm heel spread. Reach out, reach back. And here you can really go for those inhalations that kind of stretch, open all those interesting sweet places around the sternum and the chest and the armpit and the collar. These are crucial fluid transaction places. I just want to keep kind of reminding us in that cellular way and that way that helps us process our environment and our experiences. Remember that the chest and the shoulders and the lungs and the neck, these are very high transaction places in the body. Okay, inhale. Let's bring that left hand down to the ground. Chaturanga. Hands to floor. Stepping back. And pulling the shoulders away from the skull. We can pull down without squeezing them together, so keep playing with that. Cobra. Inhale. And lower. Exhale, downward dog. Let's go other side. Warrior two. Inhale, right foot forward. Get that nice heel instep alignment. We can always just fine tune it for our hips. There's that way of being in the stance, the warrior two stance, where you feel there's a predominant sensation in one hip. And there's that way of just transferring the weight, slightly adjusting the pressure, that puts the stance into both legs. If you do one of those often, try the other way. If you always feel the stance is super big sensation in one hip, try spreading that out through both hips, both legs. There you go. And then with that slight shift, tailbone, low back lengthens. Inhale into the pelvis and the abdomen. And we'll set that left hand to the thigh. Exhaling, we'll raise, reach that right arm up, over. And we'll play with this felt sense of armpit to hip crease as a distance. So whether we arc more or just reach further, how would that go to spread breath down to the hip and up to the armpit, expanding that right side space in the body, and then sustaining it, reaching, looking for a little more space. Waking up a few more muscles of inspiration, getting the ribs to expand and lift. Buoyancy Hunters. The new series begins. And inhale, we'll come back up, bringing the trunk up rather. And we'll set the left knee down for lunge. So I'm going to do a little heel toe. Press and just get right into it. Easy twisting warrior. Inhale, we'll go left hand down, backing the hips up a tiny bit. Heel of the right right palm spread widely. Exhale, reach out. One thing I really love about just all these really basic cues we can play with is cues of the hand and the foot and the neck and so on. A lot of these are about is helping those cellular transaction at the periphery of our body. Okay. So one of the ways our body starts to economize or die or go to sleep is it withdraws energy and circulation from the periphery. Okay. And so we get to help that periphery and those transactions out at the very edge of our boundary. Inhale, let's take that right hand to the ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Let's lower all the way down to the ground. Here, we'll link our hands for boat, interlace. Reach the legs back with it. The tailbone shifts down. Inhale. Abdomen behind sternum, right up to collarbone. We'll give it a few breaths here in boat. So exhale, soft reach. Now listen to your breaths. Sometimes that ujjayi breath lets off a little sound change, current change, just listening to it. And we'll release. Inhale, hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. All right, I believe we were left foot forward first. So interlock, here we come. Inhale, left foot between hands. And we'll exhale, the left armpit next to the thigh, right hand behind back. I'm using that right leg. The angle of the foot matters so that as I press through the heel, my buttock helps me do that tree thing. It helps me lengthen through the low back. It helps me find that abdominal support around the waist and the low back. So that right leg, it's not a loosey-goosey thing. Reach through the heel, let the buttock muscle help structure and support the low back. Then you get that twist through the ribs instead of just, what's the word, shearing through the low back. Okay. And release. Inhale, press that left leg straight as we head into triangle. You might have to adjust the stance in a little bit. I'm just going to lift my left hand to the leg and exhale, lift the right arm to the sky. Okay. So you can just kind of lift and place that hand. There's some similarities here, I think. I'm still using that right heel and that right buttock and that right side of my pelvis. Gaining a lot of support for the back through the butt muscles. As I lengthen through the ribs, turning the sternum and the chest open to the horizon. Right, inhale, bring the right hand to the right hip, bend the left knee. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, the right foot to the left foot. Just take a real casual saunter to the top of our mat. Same but different. Left hand, grab inside left foot, and do a little alternate. Standing twist. So I'm still turning or twisting the same way as triangle. And just like before, my right foot toes are facing we'll say the front of the mat. The left leg is straightening out over the front of the mat. Our chest is facing the horizon to our right. There you go. So you have to use that inner leg. Super jazzy inner leg to keep that knee nice and protected. So I'm trying to twist the knee. Inhale, we'll bend that left knee. I'm going to just step back. So just step the left foot back, hands down, right foot back. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. All right. So we got an inner lock. Inhale the right foot forward. Inner lock warrior. I'm using that left heel straight away. The buttock. Lengthening the ribs over the front of my mat. Letting the reach of my hands help kind of bias these rib areas more so than my low back. All right, triangle. We'll release the hands. And inhaling, we'll straighten the right leg. Adjust stance as you need. Now just simply lift the right hand to the part of the leg where it's most helpfully supportive. Exhaling, raise the left arm to the sky. And once you kind of sky reaching, you can reach back and get a little more chest opener. And here's kind of where you can use your own camera or video. You know, we're not real big mirror users here, but you can look at the bottom of the ribs, which would be your right side on this side. And if you see like your shirt and your ribs bunching up on the right side, you might play around with that right hand prop and lengthen those ribs out. It's going to be inner leg play to accommodate that. And bending the right knee, Inhale, we'll bring hands down to ground. I think it was just those two poses. Nope, nope, nope. Heel toe. We're walking to the front of the mat. Standing alternate twist. Right hand to right foot. But wait, there's more. So sometimes we just put our left foot down and just kind of go off the orientation our eyes give us. Go off the orientation that your left foot gives you. Your left foot toes, that's forward. Isn't that interesting? So sometimes we'll just put our foot any old place, and as long as our eyes are facing forward, we'll just go that way. Can we take our orientation from our feet? Foot. My left foot face that way. My right foot go that way. Left hand reach away. And inhale. Bend. Set it back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. All right. At one time, this was a sun salutation, so let's put a bow on it. Inhale, step or lightly jump feet forward. And exhale, fold. Chair. Bend knees. Inhale, arms up, chest up. And stand, exhale, hands to heart. All right. Let's have a seat. And when we lie back, we're going to use a version of fold. And I'm going to let you make your best decision. You can do a lying fold with your entire spine on the ground, simply hugging the legs toward the chest. And another option is doing a shoulder stand. Okay. The difference is just your neck, just how your body's moving and gliding today. They'll each get into a little different part of the backside of the body. And if you are in shoulder stand, I'm just kind of moving through a lying fold or a plow, just to get my hands to the ground and the spine to the ground. And in that unfurling, once the sacrum touches the ground, simply bend the knees and set the feet down. And we'll take our Shavasana, our rest here. You can leave the knees bent, you can straighten them out. So why would I leave them bent? Sometimes it helps me magnify, it helps me feel the cerebral spinal fluid a little bit differently than if I straighten my legs out straight away. I guess it depends what you want to feel. And take one large exploratory breath where you're kind of reaching with your breath to feel and find everything that's shifted, opened, revivified. Allow the Ujjayi technique to kind of dissolve. You can feel the diaphragms of the throat and the pelvis and the skull just relax even more. And when you're ready, we'll bend knees, turn to a side, and press up. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.